Broadcasting live from an undisclosed location. This is the TCMMA podcast with your host, Chris Cross.
Whoa!
Dana White privilege.
Let's go, baby! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, baby!
Dana White privilege. Privilege. Privilege.
What up? This your boy Chris Cross checking in. This is the TCMMA podcast. That's right, we're back. Vacation is over. It was a short one, just a 3-day trip to Louisville, Kentucky. And oh my goodness, we had a good time. Not because of what we got to do, but because we just got to relax. I didn't even take the computer with me. I left the computer at the house and drove hundreds of miles away without the computer. So that's big for me. I feel like I'm battling something, because it's like at least once a day I'm getting on the computer, I'm doing some type of videos. And this week we decided, hey, we're just going to get ahead and pump out a bunch of videos and leave the computer at the house. But oddly enough, we get to Louisville, Kentucky, and we're literally across the street from none other than Churchill Downs, the Super Bowl of horse racing. Churchill Downs, where the Kentucky Derby is hosted. And you see it in the background there, right? Right behind it, to the top left a little ways, you see the red. That's where Louisville plays football. The stadium is huge. And you see it there again to the left. That's Churchill Downs. And that's like the entrance side of it. When you go to the other side, you see how big the Jumbotron is. I mean, it is crazy. The Jumbotron at Churchill Downs is you look at it and you're just in amazement. You're like, this thing is huge. Like one horse's name, the height of the horse's name, right? If you stand up next to it, it's going to be taller than you. I mean, that's how big it is. It's amazing. But yeah, right? I mean, we're literally, whole thing's fenced off. No races going on right now. Yeah, we checked. But just to see it, man, and just imagine, because the parking lot is just, it goes around like half the venue, maybe 2/3. And the amount of cars it can fit, it looks like a football stadium. It really does. I mean, Churchill Downs, flat out incredible. Just Louisville all together. Really impressed on the trip with the city of Louisville. A lot to do there. And you could just tell at certain times of the year, that place is rocking. And the thing I like about Louisville, getting to visit the college a little bit too, everything is right there. You know, the football stadium, the baseball fields, the tennis courts, the track, everything is right in the same vicinity. And when you're looking at a college, that's what, in my opinion, you want to see. You want to see all the facilities, even if it doesn't apply to you and you're not an athlete. You just want everything, the school, the facilities, everything right there, and just massive. And to me, that's what Louisville is. You just look at it like, oh my goodness, you know, you're just driving by the tennis courts, because we got lost once, and next thing you know, we're at the Louisville tennis courts, and it's like court after court after court after court after court after court. It's incredible, man, what these colleges are doing. And Louisville as a city was impressive, and there's just a lot to do there. And we had a really good time. But listen, we're back, and there's a lot of things going on in the UFC, especially tonight. That's why I wanted to jump on here real quick. Normally Thursdays and Fridays we're not doing podcasts, but since I was out of town for a few days, and a lot has happened, and in particular, tonight is the Republican National Convention. And why is this important for the show? Because Dana White's speaking, and he's introducing Trump tonight at the RNC. That's right. Your boy Dana White, president of the UFC. A guy that, you know, if it was anyone else, when the UFC fight's over, sometimes it's over, you know, at 9 o'clock at night. Sometimes it's over at 2 in the morning. Even when it's over like a late night pay-per-view event, okay, maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock. I'm staying up for the post-fight press conference, even though I can barely keep my eyes open. You know why? For a lot of reasons that I listened to Joe Rogan over the years, Howard Stern, whoever, I cannot wait to see what he's going to say when it comes to Dana White. I just cannot wait to see what he's going to say. He no holds barred, doesn't hold back, and it's a lot like Trump. And it's I'm not surprised because there's no one better within the same personality to introduce Donald Trump at the RNC. Most likely, I mean, his last RNC, right? And I'll watch the DNC as well, a little bit of it, but I've watched some of the RNC already, and it's been phenomenal. Some of the things that they're doing are just phenomenal. Like last night, having the soldiers out there and everybody just in tears. I mean, it was incredible. Well, the families of the soldiers, if you happen to see it. But some of the headlines today: UFC boss Dana White and Donald Trump's long friendship culminates at RNC tonight. Also, Donald Trump saved UFC. Now it could get him elected. So I was interested in that one. We'll have more on that for sure. How did he save the UFC? I still haven't read the whole article, but read a little bit of it. Conor McGregor reveals he has 2 fights left on UFC contract and eyes BKFC, Bare Knuckle. And that's crazy. Like we're going to get into that, but just focus on UFC. Like this is the problem with McGregor right now. As much as I like him, just focus on the UFC. Let's get a fight there first. Also, how an epiphany helped Mike Perry transform a UFC cast-off to a combat sports star ahead of Jake Paul bout. Interesting. And Chael Sonnen details the mistake the UFC made in negotiating Khabib Nurmagomedov comeback. They were changing the wrong number. Don't change the dollars, change the weight class, right? Is what Chael Sonnen is saying. So those are some of the main topics. Not a whole lot going on, right? We got UFC Vegas 94 going down this Saturday night. We already brought the predictions to you. If you missed it, watch the entire last episode where we recapped the Trump situation over the weekend. Just crazy stuff. We recapped UFC Denver, which was wild last week with Doug Rose Namajunas dominating at the top of the card. Lots of finishes last Saturday. And then we get into UFC Vegas 94 predictions, Alimos versus Janda Roba. So, go back and check that out. It's definitely not too late for you to do that. That was episode 778. Right now, 779. It's 779. We're marching towards 1,000 pretty quickly.
Whoa!
Yeah. And it's fun, man. It's fun. So, let's cover the first 2 topics, which are really the same. First, UFC boss Dana White. UFC boss Dana White and Donald Trump's long friendship culminates tonight at the RNC. And as I said earlier, there's no one better than Dana White to do that tonight.
Yes!
Right? I mean, Dana White's going to come out there, and those of you that don't know him, right, that are just watching tonight, aren't really UFC fans right at the moment. The whole time he's speaking after every sentence is just going to be like,
Yes! Yes!
I'm telling you, because he sounds like Trump. He's the perfect, he promotes fighters. He promotes the sport of, MMA and UFC. And he's going to have no problem promoting Donald Trump. And just the way he comes out, he maybe inside he's nervous. He never appears that way. He's going to go right at you on TV, and it's going to be awesome. And the thing I like about this the most, regardless if it was the DNC or the RNC, it just happened to be Trump and their friends. But what I like about this most is this is going to bring more people in to UFC. There's going to be some people after Dana White speaks tonight that are going to watch the UFC for the first time. And it probably won't be this Saturday, right? But next Saturday when you get a big UFC event, and it will be overseas, so Trump's not going to that one, right? Because it'll be in England. And then 305, I think, will be in Australia. So it might be a while before Trump comes to one, but he's definitely coming to one more before the election. You better believe it. And it's going to probably be closer to the election, September, October, something like that. So Trump will be at another UFC event. I can almost guarantee it, right? I don't have any inside info. If I did, man, probably have a lot more views and subscribers than we do right now, right? I have no inside info. But I believe Trump will be at another UFC event. He's got to, because when he does, it makes headlines immediately. Now, Donald Trump saved UFC. Now it could get him elected. So I didn't know much about this. Trump's friendship with Dana White, whose mixed martial arts company he bailed out over 20 years ago, right? Gives him access to a huge pool of voters, and really the ones that he wants to target, right? I mean, the UFC is a male-dominated sport in terms of viewership. Like just on our channel, 98.5% of viewers are males. I mean, it's crazy. There's a lot of women that are into UFC and mixed martial arts, but it's a male-dominated sport. So Donald Trump stepped in. You know, it was early 2000s, and I'm looking at the times, right? It was early 2000s, and New York real estate mogul, and I don't even know what that word is, fan of combat sports, took a gamble. He offered up his Atlantic City casino to the UFC's struggling new president, Dana White, who thanked Trump and told him he owed him one. Nobody took us seriously then, except Donald Trump, a grateful White said at an interview in 2018. I would never say anything negative about Donald Trump because he was there when other people weren't. So it seems to me that he's alluding to Dana White kind of being like a gateway to the UFC, getting to perform in a place like Atlantic City. And I mean, watching the sport now, you know the history. But it's like, just like anything else, when something's new, there's going to be a lot of people trying to put up walls and roadblocks along the way. And a lot of times it's just because they're trying to make sure they get their piece of the pie and their cut somehow. I mean, that's the game, right? But Donald Trump opened the door, and boom, the UFC has an opening at a time when it was critical because the company was losing money. Now it's massive, and you see they go to every city, it sells out. The fan base is growing to just a huge number, but it will continue to grow. It just will continue to grow, and tonight's a step in that direction, right? Because we're going to get some people, and I love it. Call them casuals for now, but they might be diehard later. But some of these people are going to tune into the UFC because they're like, I like this guy. You know, he's interesting. You know, he's similar to Trump. If you like Trump, you're going to like Dana White. I can promise you that. If you like Donald Trump, you will like Dana White. And this is not any of you that watch the UFC. I'm talking to those of you that don't watch right now. You're going to love Dana. The guy is, when he leaves, I'm probably going to shed a few tears because he's phenomenal in terms of, you know, just the way he talks to the media and no holds barred and says it how it is. And you may not like it, but you know that he's coming from the heart, right? He's saying what he believes. And that could be in politics or sports. I like a person who's going to say what they believe because even if I don't agree, I know that they're saying what they believe. I'm not just getting a bunch of words, right? And that's what you get with both these guys. And that's why tonight's just going to be a party for both Donald Trump, Dana White, and the RNC. And the DNC will have their party. But tonight's the RNC party, baby. And I'm glad Dana White is going to be there. Please believe it. Now, Conor McGregor reveals he has 2 fights left, just 2, on his UFC contract, and eyes BKFC. So he did a press conference with BKFC is Bare Knuckle fighting. So, and this is like the new thing, right? Never will be on the level of the UFC, but regardless of what it is, whatever venture it is for McGregor. And listen, this goes for Hamza as well. Both these guys are my 2 main guys. I love McGregor. I love Hamza. Those are my 2 favorite fighters, right? Not necessarily means they're going to win. I think Hamza beats everyone right now, but McGregor's getting older. But just my 2 favorite fighters as like a fan. Like in football, I got the Miami Dolphins, right? So in basketball, I got the Heat. In hockey, I got the Panthers, all right? So in fighting, it's Hamza and McGregor. But neither of these guys, and we're focusing on McGregor right now, can afford to start saying, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Well, listen, you got to do your main sport first. We haven't seen you in 3 or 4 years. And some of that isn't McGregor. A lot of that isn't McGregor's fault that we haven't seen him in 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, whatever it's been. Injuries and setbacks and all these type of things. But when you're in that situation and you're not showing up, which has only happened once in his career, but we haven't seen you for years, you're in no position to start talking about other stuff. Because then why should we be excited to see you fight in the UFC? Like I'm watching McGregor to try to win a title. And maybe I just need to get to the point where it's like, okay, McGregor's no longer focused on winning a title. It's just show fights. But what do you need show fights for if you're McGregor? You already got the money. Okay, maybe you got to be in the arena and part of the action and in the fight. I get it. But man, I'm hoping that you're going to still try to go for championships, even if it's far-fetched. Win 2 or 3 in a row and watch yourself get moved up the ladder quicker than any other fighter and a chance to fight for the title because your last name is McGregor. So, but I don't like that he's already talking about BKFC, even though he's talking to a BKFC media outlets and fans or whatever. It's just, come on. Telling everybody what they want to hear. But I love McGregor, but that's just the truth of the matter. Now, Mike Perry transformed from a UFC cast-off to a combat sports star ahead of Jake Paul bout. And really, Mike Perry's a combat. All right, I mean he's got a big enough name, and he struggled later in his career in the UFC. But I don't know about a combat sports star. And maybe you could say that. Now, if he beats Jake Paul this weekend, okay. There will be a lot of people that will love to see Mike Perry beat Jake Paul. But then what does that do to the Tyson fight, right? So this is one I almost got to root for Jake Paul because I want the Tyson fight to be huge. Don't expect Tyson to win, but a one-off, you never know, man. You never know if he can land that punch in the first 3 rounds. You never know. After that, it's all Jake Paul. Chael Sonnen details the mistake the UFC made in negotiating a Khabib Nurmagomedov comeback. They were changing the wrong number. So you don't want to change the dollar sign. Khabib's not worried about that. But if you would have said, hey, how about 170 instead of 155? Maybe you get Khabib back. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say Khabib made up his mind. He was very clear about his father passed away. He had one more fight. He did it. He's 29-0. And it's like, I'm done. I'm not fighting there without my father anymore. And I got 29 victories. It's not like Khabib had like 15 fights. He had 29. And you're undefeated and you walk away. And people are always going to bring up the comeback. But the bottom line is, man, if you can walk away at 29-0, that's an incredible thing. But then you got to figure out other ways to make money, right? And hopefully those ventures go in Khabib's way. But yeah. So Chael Sonnen believes that they would have focused on the weight class, he would have made a comeback. And I'm going to lean towards no, he wouldn't have made a comeback. I'm going to lean towards that way. I don't think he would have made the comeback anyway. So as we move forward in the show, we're going to jump into the Q&A. We haven't done one of these in a while, but it's time to get back to it, More comments coming in. The summertime, you have a little downslope of views and things like that. At least in this particular thing, you got all the politics going on. So, but the comments are coming back in full force. So let's get into it just a little bit. And first, Michael D says, I really feel like if you want to be inspired by Trump, it should be because of his platform's policies, past decision making, and overall character. The man has over 4,000 court cases to his name. That speaks volumes. Well, when you're a billionaire, you're going to have court cases, man. When you have $1 million, you're going to have a court case. When you have $10 million, you're going to have probably 10 court cases. Okay? So I don't care about all that. And this is the thing with Trump, just like Dana White, that people don't understand. All the negative stuff that he has attached to him, they all got negative stuff. Okay? The difference with Donald Trump as a politician, like Dana White as the president of the UFC, is simple. I feel like what he's telling me is for real. I may not like it. You may not like it. But I feel like what he's telling me is what he believes. And I'll take that over being told what a politician thinks I believe. Always changing for the type of crowd they're in front of. Things of that nature. No, no, no. I want someone who speaks their mind, stays on their points, what they believe in. They don't get shifted because of pressure, right? When you get shifted because of pressure, it's not good. It's not good for any of us because we don't know what you're saying is true or what you really believe. Or when you get elected, what you're going to do. With Trump, it's like, okay, you're going to get elected. We know what he's going to do. I mean, can you not say, or can you say that you don't know what Trump's going to do? I mean, he's pretty darn clear. Anyone else gets elected, I don't really know what they're going to do. Trump's telling me what he's going to do. And now that he's in the position as one of the top two, and that's locked in, he's going to start moving towards the middle. He's going to start moving towards the middle. That's what you do at this point in the game, is you move towards the middle. You have to. And it's not bad, or people shouldn't get upset, but he's going to move towards the middle, try to bring in more people. And that's what you're supposed to do. But I'm not worried about the past decision making and overall character and 4,000 court cases, because I know people with money get sued. I'm worried about is what he's telling me is what he really believes and is going to do. I'll take that over all the other stuff. And that's why people can't figure out why some people like Trump. But it's so bad that I just want someone that's going to tell me what they truly believe. And I think he's going to do that. Now, Bo Jackson says, will he ever finish anyone good? Talking about Hamza. History says no. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's going to finish someone good. But your definition of good might be different from my definition of good. Right? Who's to define good? But finishes, whatever. I just want Hamza to win the title at all costs. Jesse Strand says, well said on Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal. I don't even remember what I said about Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal, but much appreciated. You know, you don't get complimented a lot in the MMA world. Everyone's out, you know, unless they agree with you on Hamza or something. It's mostly you're in a dogfight. That's what the MMA world is each and every day. Make no mistake about it. At Arthur Bode, I believe, says, what title for Hamza? As we were talking about the title fight the other day, right? Only ranked fighters he has fought is Burns, ex-lightweight, at welterweight, and Usman, welterweight, at middleweight. And that was Usman's first fight at middleweight. Not even going to mention that it was short notice. Guys can fight for sure, but now he's just all talk, no action. See, and they want to dismiss the Usman fight. Usman, okay, he lost to Leon Edwards. Right before that, he was #1 in the world. I don't care if it's at welterweight or middleweight. In fact, I think he'd be more dangerous at middleweight, not having to cut weight. I think that was a very tough fight for Hamza. And before he injured his hand, he went in there and absolutely dominated Usman in the first round. Just took him down for 4 minutes, and Usman was fighting off all types of submission attempts. He was in trouble. And then it looked different, and then we find out Hamza was injured. But to downplay that fight, I don't think you can do it. But I understand what you're saying, and it makes some sense. Bo Jackson says he's failed to finish any ranked guys. And Bo, you know, okay, Bo has a point right now, and he's going to stick to that point, and there's nothing wrong with that. But he will finish people in the near future, please believe it. The Master, after what he did to Usman, I say give it to him. Dustin got a title fight coming off a KO loss, I know. Ursay got a title fight out of nowhere, and so did Strickland. So nothing is impossible. But either way, his next opponent needs to be a top 5 guy. And I agree with that. I just think what the UFC is going to do now is you're going to get a top 10 guy, right? It's going to take him a year to get back to a top 5 fight. By the time he books the next fight, waits for it to get here, fights, waits the time in between the next fight, and then fights a top 5 guy, it's going to be a year from when he was supposed to fight Whitaker. So that's why I say a stomach flu or whatever it was cost Hamza a year of his time. And he doesn't have years to give now. right? Is he 29, 30? He doesn't have years to give. He's right where he needs to be at the age to win a title. But now, what's the question mark in terms of him not being in the octagon for a while, right? What what I mean is he hasn't been in there for a while, so is there going to be some rust at a time when he, or then you're going to go fight a top 5 guy after not being in there for 2 years? Like, we believe he can do that and win, but is that what they're realistically going to do? I don't think they will, unfortunately. I think the UFC is going to make him pay for missing a Whitaker fight, even though it wasn't his fault, because now he's developing a trend of having to pull out of multiple fights and missing weight once. So that's a problem. Yeah. In terms of Alex Pereira against John Jones, you got Matthew saying he would do what he did to Cyril Gane. Also saying Jones would win. Yeah. That's what a lot of people are saying. That's what a lot of people are saying. It very easily could happen that way. But Alex Pereira, to me, can match up with anyone. And John Jones, being one of the best fighters of all time, Alex Pereira seeking a 3rd title, it's something that has to happen. And it should be happening right now. The reason it's not happening right now is because John Jones has everything to lose and nothing to gain. That's why it's not happening right now. Everything to lose, nothing to gain. So therefore, you're not going to see it. But listen, we're glad to be back from vacation. Big speech tonight for Dana White. Okay, it's going down. But you will like him if you don't know him after the fact. For now, this is your boy Chris Cross. Hope you have a great day. God bless. As always, peace.